The Joe Rogan Experience.
Certainly we don't. I think I have no idea what your position on climate change is, but personally, I think that things are happening and something needs to be done.
That's clearly things are happening.
And that, I read a couple of editorials, probably in the New York Times or something, a couple of months ago. One was about how, yes, things are changing and we have a right to worry, but we shouldn't worry about the Earth. As the famous quote is, "Gaia's a tough bitch." So the Earth will survive, but the configuration of life on it is unlikely to continue to be the same under those conditions. The more that everything changes, the conditions of life change. And the first things to go, and this is what happened to the dinosaurs, are large energy-demanding organisms. Because as the conditions change, the climate that we've lived in, we've succeeded because we were able to benefit from that kind of climate. But as the climate begins to change, our kind is not going to be able to succeed as well because those conditions are, the waters are rising, the deserts are expanding, all these things are happening, and it's just not going to be, species don't last that long. A few million years and they go. So our time may be.
Well, we've only been around for what, 300, 400,000 years and something?
Well, it depends on what
you call we,
yeah.
Right?
But
and the Neanderthals were around quite a bit longer than that.
Yeah.
And they're not here anymore.
So we don't have I think that we can use our minds to try and help us get through this. But that's only going to work if we can do that collectively. That's the scary part. We have to work together collectively as a world because these are not local issues. These are global issues.
Yeah, right.
And that is, how is that going to happen?
Getting, especially getting other countries like China to comply.
Yeah. But, you see small successes. I mean, like auto companies deciding, well, we need to, rein in the emissions. And there's probably a profit motive underlying that at some point.
Sure, and people are conscious. There's green dollars, right? Like you want to, like when you think about technological achievements and you think about the conscious mind and the ability to create and the creative process, do you envision the possibility of some sort of a technological solution to a lot of the problems that we're facing?
I think it has to be a social solution.
Social? How so?
We have to figure out how to balance this worldwide. We can do whatever we want in this country, if we could do what we want. But even if we were the best country in the world for the environment, that wouldn't solve the problem. It's a worldwide problem. The Amazon forest, that's affecting a lot of people. It's just not a simple thing that one country can solve.
Right, but if one country takes steps and imposes some sort of a technological solution that pulls carbon from the atmosphere, that does enhance some sort of a cooling process to bring homeostasis, to bring some sort of a generally agreed upon state of the environment, if that's technologically possible, that's going to come out of the creative mind, right?
Well, I don't want to go too far off into my not area of expertise like climate and so that. I just think I think of it from the kind of the social perspective and what our brains are contributing. But I don't think I can really address the details of all that. But
but even like socially, if we did address it socially, we're still going to have to deal with the actual physical limitations of the environment that we live in and what we've done, and how to somehow or another mitigate it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So I think creators coming along and trying to find technical solutions, that's great.
When you analyze the human mind and knowing what you know about the thought processes and the way people think and work, when you see people in denial of climate change and when you see people that are so enamored with the concept of capitalism and big business that they don't really think that it's a big deal, or they want to deny that it's a big deal so that they can continue short-term profits.
Right.
What is that like? Those mechanisms, like watching that take place in the monkey mind.
Yeah. Well,
what are you thinking when you see that happen with humans?
I don't think it's simple. It's not simply denial of climate change for climate reasons. I think there's a lot of social, within certain groups, there's social stigma for being pro-environment.
Yes.
And so it's
tribal.
Yeah, tribal. It's people cling together, and it's a kind of form of self-protection that by identifying a set of issues that we all can agree upon, because they're kind of dictated top-down in a sense, that are our thing, and then that thing is somebody else's thing. So.
Yeah, that's a weird aspect of being a human being, right? These tribal identity things where if you're in this group, you must be pro-choice.
Right.
If you're in this group, you must be pro-life. You must be anti-war.
Right.
You must be pro-Second Amendment. Like, there's very little deviation. And
that's left, right, that's everything.
Yeah.
I mean, the belief systems, rigid belief systems, part of being.
And when you look at politics and you know that these belief systems are, do you find it odd that we have these like sort of polar opposites, or at least left-right choices, this red-blue choices, that we've limited ourselves to these very distinct tribes?
Right. I think that's unfortunate, but that's where we are.
Is there a way out of that?
The political scientists have to take that one out.
We're going down a weird road.